When you look at me, do you see a girl who's in constant 24/7 pain? A girl who some days can't get out of bed to use the bathroom because she feels like her entire body is on fire from the inside out. What do you see when you look around the room, at each other, or even in the halls? You might not understand or think about it, but some of the very same students you known since kindergarten might be dealing with crippling anxiety, major depression, or chronic pain. It is unfortunately very common, and the more we learn, the better help we can be in the future. July 2016, 3 months after I graduated college, my life changed forever. I was visiting family in Las Vegas. We were on our way home from dinner, and when a lady ran a red light going 60 miles an hour, T-boned us on my door. We were pushed 40 feet. As this happened, my head hit the window several times, and then my head and neck went that way. I am here today only because of the car I was in. When EMS came to check us out, I was okay. I was sore and in shock, but I was still standing. I was in Las Vegas for another week and had a few tests done, which showed nothing. Finally came home and went to my doctors. I was sent to a chiropractor and was told a lot of my symptoms were depression. I knew something wasn't right. I was always in a fog and had pain where I was hit. That went on for 4 months. I was sent to a neurologist who told me that I had a concussion within 5 minutes of listening to my story. I also had post-concussive syndrome, which is when you have concussion symptoms a lot longer, sometimes forever. I started trying out different medicines, therapies, one after the other. I tried and failed. Over time, I continued to decline. I was a college graduate who was working full-time as an assistant event planner, which had been my dream since I was where you guys are my senior year of high school. I started to notice that I was having a difficult time concentrating and often having to ask about the same task over and over. I knew there was something off, or there wasn't something right, because I never did that. I was always on top of everything. I spoke with my doctor, who decided to take me off work. I continued to go for testing, one of which included a neuropsych exam that took place over 2 days. The results showed I had lost IQ points, and I was in the low percentile for certain skills. That was a hard pill to swallow, as I had graduated from Michigan State and on the dean's list. At one of my appointments, my pain management doctor basically told me that this was in my head and that I'm healthy. I should be jumping for joy. He even gave me examples of people who might bring on pain to get out of something or seek attention. How can someone who's in constant pain every day with no relief be able to celebrate? What 21-year-old would want to make this up or exaggerate? Not this girl, that's for sure. About a month later, after having more tests and being in the hospital for a few hours from such severe pain, I was sent to a new pain management doctor who told me I had central pain syndrome. Central pain syndrome is a neurological disorder that is caused from damage to your brain, brainstem, or spine. You can get a variety of symptoms, including burning sensations, stabbing, aching, pins and needles, among many others. My nerves are always firing off in my brain that my body doesn't know, or my brain doesn't know what pain is anymore. Most times it's hard for me to be touched. Showers feel like razor blades on my skin. And worst of all, when I'm cold and I get goosebumps, they make me want to rip my skin off. I have been electrocuted from plugging my computer in, and dealt with a broken shoulder for 10 months just because I thought it was my central pain syndrome going off. As of right now, there is no cure, and most treatments are trial and error. I am currently on no medication other than what I was on before the accident. During the past few years, especially when I didn't work, I was so down on myself. I felt like the biggest failure and like the weight of the world was on my shoulders. I was depressed, and all I did was cry, curl up in my bed, and try to shut the world out. I had an amazing support system in my family, friends, and my boyfriend. If I wouldn't have had them, I'm not sure where I'd be today. Some days when the pain is off the charts, I become afraid for the future, afraid that I will be like this every day for the next 50 to 60 plus years. I fear that I will never be good enough because right now I still don't work full time. I fear that maybe one day in the future it'll be hard for me to have kids. Most of all, I fear that I'm a burden to everyone I know. I started to think about how to take this horrible situation and turn it into something positive. I wanted to stop being negative as much as I could so people around me would want to continue to be with me. I started a blog and a movement called Be Forever Strong. It is to raise awareness on chronic pain and mental health. I realized I needed to be my own advocate because no one knew me better than me, including the doctors. In the last 3 years, I have written and published 2 novels, I've blogged, and I have a podcast called With Love Alexa. I want to be able to help others dealing with situations like mine and feel like they can't go on. Doing everything I have done has made me realize that as bad as the situation is, maybe I was meant to be the one to go through it, to have the platform to help others. I want you to know that you can go on. I want you to know that you need to go on and fight. We need to open our eyes to the fact that not every sick person looks sick, that not everyone who is hurting is physically covered in their scars. Just because you can't see something doesn't mean it isn't there. The more empathetic we can be to others, the more we can help the world. Are you hurting? Do you know someone who's hurting? You are not alone and you will never be alone. It's time to stop victim labeling and making people feel bad about their situation. I personally hate the term victim because I am not a victim. I am a warrior. And each and every one of you are warriors or know someone who's a warrior. If we can each help one person, we would probably have a lot less suicides. People maybe would feel more comfortable to ask for help because they wouldn't feel like a failure. The first step is to taking away the stigma is to listen. Listen to your peers. And when I say listen, I mean put electronics away and focus on who you're talking to. If someone tells you they are having a hard time, tell them that you hear them and that you're there for them. They need to know people are listening and that they are heard. An important lesson I have learned through all this, and I hope you can take away from today, is to be your own advocate. You are the only ones that truly know your body and know yourself. People can tell you anything they want about you, but it doesn't make it true. This relates to not only invisible illnesses, but to everyday life. There'll be times maybe in college, in high school, that someone's telling you you can't do something, but you can, and you are your own advocate. And if you don't like something, change it. And as long as you believe in yourself, you'll be able to do anything. You will never feel like you should have done more if you continually stand up for yourself.
Thank you.